This question is, how will the Crows approach this game considering the expected heat?
Yeah, it's a tough one because I know the AFL are talking about restricting the game time and giving us some more subs. So with only a 30-minute game with two 15-minute halves, we probably won't see as much of the players as what we wanted to, but we understand the first week's an opportunity to have a look at, I guess, the whole squad that's fit, and I'm sure we'll put out a very competitive side.
Brenton, your first crack at being a coach full time. How are you feeling going into that? A little bit nervous?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's interesting with all the way that everything's going to unfold. Not just how I go with coaching on the first chance that I've had, but also too with some new coaches and some new players, and just to make sure that we're all getting the chemistry right, and obviously with one eye preparing for round one.
Are you going to be able to make realistic observations of your players if it's so short?
Probably not this week. No. We've got 33 players that we're going to have a look at. But if it's a restricted game time and more subs, it might be hard to get a decent look. So, but obviously weeks 2, 3 and 4 is a better chance to prepare your side for round one.
So how do you feel you'll get an understanding of if they've understood what you want them to do, or are you going to just focus on what the individuals do?
We've had a lot of match sim. Probably 10 days before the Christmas break, we started to play, I guess what you'd call internal trials, where we're exposing our players to match-like conditions, and we've had umpires out to a lot of our sessions, and as much as we can, we've tried to simulate match conditions even before this weekend. So this is for us, obviously week 1 of the NAB Cup, but we feel like we've had a lot of exposure to match-like conditions previous to this week.
So is it more about the player individually or the team and the game?
No, it's definitely both. We're looking at, I guess, different setups and strategy with like our forward line system and our midfield and stoppages, but at the same time we feel like we're preparing as best we can for round one by doing a lot of match simulation during the week.
Brenton, during the pre-season you spoke a lot about a new game style. How much of that will we see this weekend?
Oh, you'll see all of it. Yeah, you'll definitely see the Crows playing how we want to play. So we're not going to take it any differently to how we've been preparing during the training sessions, and I'm sure you'll see some difference to how perhaps the side played previously.
So you won't be keeping cards close to your chest, saving them for round one?
No, we can't flirt with our form, no question about that. We've got to start to play how we want to play, and it'd be a great opportunity for our coaches to review how we play and then make any sort of minor adjustments leading into the first game of the season.
No Brad Crouch. What's the reason behind that? He was talked about playing in these early games.
Yeah, he's playing really well in our internal trials, and he's been training the house down, but we also understand that he can't play any footy for us this year, so we feel it's a better opportunity to look at some of those sort of second, third, fourth year players that have had great summers, and we can have a look at them this week. But we will play Brad in one of the NAB Cup matches. We're just not sure which one yet, but we probably deserve to play him in one of those matches.
You've been quoted as saying you often go through the best lineup for round one and keep flip-flopping the names on the card. Right now, how many players are in contention for those 22 spots?
Oh, there's up to, I think, probably the squad we've named this week. I think those guys, and you could probably add obviously Rutten and Knights and Port Pleasure, who won't play this week. But we've probably got, say, 33. That's probably 36 players then that we feel like we've got depth that could play for us in the early part of the season.
Brenton, one of the things you guys did at Geelong, if I can reflect that on Geelong, was understood that you actually rest players because it's a squad, not a team.
Yep.
Can you do that at Adelaide? Do you have enough depth to do it?
That'll be a challenge. I know that obviously your aim is to qualify for the finals, and then preferably is to qualify in the top 4. But at the same time, you can't flirt with having a loss by resting players, and we'll be going all out to win every game we play. Whether it's a NAB Cup game, round 1 or round 16. So we'll be putting our best side on the park. I think every week, and hopefully we get to an opportunity at some point when I'm coaching that we can have the luxury of resting players and still not flirting with having a loss.
The NAB Cup's very different to home and away. Do we put up too many rule changes year by year? Do you think it's time we just closed it down?
I think we obviously prepare away from these matches for round 1. Like we haven't been practicing the NAB Cup rules, for example, at training, but it's a great chance to look at some different options for the AFL with potential rule changes. So we'll obviously adhere to those rules, and it'll be fun for the fans. And at the same time, though, like I said, we're preparing for round 1, so all of our match simulation has been with regular season rules.
Was it just with that? A couple of years ago said maybe we just have a moratorium, 2-3 years, no rule changes. Did you agree with that?
Not necessarily. I think some of the changes we've made to the competition have been beneficial. Others, obviously, coaches don't always agree with, but at the same time, I'm a big fan of making the game better and a better spectacle, and that's what the AFL want to do, and change some rules to help that. That's no problem with us.
Is there something you like in the NAB Cup that you would like to see continue on with Premiership season?
Not off the top of my head, no. I do like the format though. It's something just a little bit different for the fans. In those first 2 or 3 weeks, it adds a bit of excitement, and we can see some young players play, but also too the stuff like the 9-point goals, and the last person to possess the ball out of bounds, free kick sort of soccer style is something that's quite entertaining. But no, I think, like I said, we're looking forward to preparing our side for round 1. So all the match sim stuff we do away from the club will be regular season rules.
With that in mind, is it a frustration to you that first up you've got to play these Mickey Mouse 20-minute matches or 15-minute matches when you want to have a good look at your whole side over the course of a game?
No, not really. We've done a lot of match simulation prior to this week, and this is just an exciting little hit out for our boys and our fans, and also too, I guess, people watching on TV. It's short. You play 2 different teams, so there's an option. There's an option there for us to play 33 players or whatever it is, 34 players. So we don't get to do that for example, next week we play Brisbane and Alice Springs. We can't play 34 players, so it's a good chance this week to have a bit of a broad look at our squad, the guys that deserve to play, and we'll narrow our focus a little bit more sort of week 3, week 4 of the NAB Cup, trying to get our best side together for round 1 of the regular season.
Free agency's raised its head this week. What are your thoughts on free agency, first of all, and secondly, will it be good for a club like Adelaide, which is pretty well off financially?
I like it for the individual, but I don't like it for the club. So I think it's probably fair for the individual. But now, being a coach, I like the idea of not having free agency. But I know it's obviously what we have to live with now. And if there's an opportunity for a player to take his craft elsewhere, then that's the freedom I guess he's going to have now.
Can it help Adelaide though, with the facilities you've got? It might help attract some big names here rather than losing the other way.
Oh, it can certainly help every team, not just Adelaide. It could help the stronger sides in the competition, But we've got some people working behind the scenes having a look at it, and I'm sure as it unfolds at the end of the season, we're going to be disappointed to lose players, but we also might have the option to get some players in. But we've got other people working on that.
Does it set up the era of the mercenary?
Not necessarily, no. I don't think so. It's an unnecessary distraction, I know, and there's going to be a lot of talk about free agency, particularly probably in the second half of the season. And we've got some players coming out of contract too, which I know is going to be a distraction for us as a footy club and for those people individually. So it's the nature of the beast. It's what we have to live with, and it's part of being involved in a footy club, unfortunately.